Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for Dana White's Contender Series with your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
The Guru back again for Dana White Contender Series Week 6. James Llontop taking on Malik Lewis in your lightweight fight. James' last fight was at welterweight. So make sure you're doing your notes and checking up on that stuff. This is a lightweight main event. 5 fights. Can't wait to break them down with you, TB. Should be an interesting card.
oh baby, is it going to be interesting? Contender Series, it's been the year of the dogs.
It has
and
been.
My God, I mean, we're looking at, a pretty solid run of what, like 5 weeks in a row where it's just about like 50% dogs versus favorites. So make sure you're really looking into the lines. It's Contender Series. Keep your bankroll tight and handy to yourself because we shouldn't be blowing it all on Tuesdays when we got to make sure that we have our bets for the weekend. So if you haven't already done so, please throw a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel. We are on the countdown to 500 subscribers, 464 at the moment. Please be part of the family that gets us to 500. Thank you for all your support. And without further ado, what you guys came for, we're going to get down to these fights. Here we go. In our first matchup of the evening, they did a little shakeup here on after they finally announced the order here. Tapology always a little behind, but we start off the night. We got Matsumoto versus Kasey Tanner. No nicknames on either side. Was not prepared for a TB nickname, so we're rolling on in. We got the 13-0 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Matsumoto versus Kasey, the fight-ready man Tanner. So, yeah, it is what it is. But listen, I think Matsumoto, he's got a very solid all-around game. Young kid, 24 years old, and definitely seems like he's improving from fight to fight. I think his striking from distance is pretty solid, but I've seen him get touched before. I think his wrestling is also pretty solid. His jiu-jitsu pretty good, but I've seen him jump ghillie. I've seen him taken down and controlled. I think Matsumoto is a really talented fighter. I just don't feel comfortable with him as the favorite here, especially when Kasey Tanner, high-level wrestling background, training at Fight Ready, seems at face-offs to be a bit more of the filled out and the guy that had to cut a little bit more weight to make the limit here. And he looked, I would say it was a pretty solid face-off, but I got to say Kasey Tanner, as the dog here, man, the dogs have been barking all Contender Series. So
Yeah.
It's not what favorites do I like and parlay them together. It's what dog shots do I think I want to take a chance on. Kasey Tanner fits the bill for me. What do you think here, Guru?
He fits the bill for me as well. But, it's very important to highlight how good Jin Matsumoto's wrestling is. He's got well-timed takedown attempts. He's got massive slams, solid grappling. He's relentless with his grappling, decent top pressure. He's going to do all the things, you'd want to see in a grapple. The problem really for me seems to be in some of his, like you said, to be being young, some of his inexperience, and just kind of this poor striking defense, right? He can be a little reckless at times, and he honestly kind of struggles to maintain top control, which can be difficult, right? If that's your main game plan, right? It's going to cause you to keep grappling over and over. And like you also said, he's willing to jump guillotine many times. He did it many times in the Santos fight in LFA. And from there, once the guy popped out of the guillotine, he was stuck on bottom, and it was problematic. So for that reason, and him being super young, I like Kasey Tanner. Turner's aggressive. He's got solid sprawls and scrambles. His own grappling is good. He's willing to catch kicks and look for takedowns. His calf kick is pretty heavy, so you could look to see that do some damage. The big knock on him, right, is just kind of a low level of competition. But I think with his own decent wrestling game, you might see a problem for Gene to get up from that. So I like the dog shot on what's his name on
Kasey Tanner, real nice.
Tanner.
What's his name?
You know what it is? I have a mental block, and it's for Turner, and it's Tanner. I don't know
you
why.
texted me Turner earlier. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I was like looking up and down. I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about?
It makes no sense. I have a mental block for Tanner. I like the Tanner money line, and I like Fight Goes the Distance. I don't know if we have a line on that yet, but I kind of see both of these guys as tough young guys. Neither have ever lost, so certainly neither have ever been finished. So, and they both have Matsumoto has 5 decisions and Turner has 2. So, why not a little decisionation?
All right. Well, we have total rounds posted on Bet365. Over 2.5 minus 145. Guru, I like the way you think.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking with that. Maybe a dog shot, maybe a little shot on that.
A little fight goes the distance.
A little distance.
Hey, make sure if you guys are watching the show right now, if you haven't done so already, please throw a like on the video. Helps us out so much. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you're messing up, but it's okay. I'll forgive you. Go ahead, do the right thing. Doesn't cost you anything, by the way. Subscribe to us. Always the best guests, best bets, always free. So make sure you do your thing. And we're going to roll right along to the next fight here because I think we're leaning the dog on Tanner and we like the over. So if you're going to do anything with a little bit of money you're sprinkling on Contender Series, that's the move. As we get on to our next fight here, we got Julia the Dragon Palastri versus Patricia Alujas. This is what we bring TB on for, all the accents. But we got Polastri at 11-3, Lujas at 9-2. The heavy favorite coming in here is Polastri. And yeah, I mean, Lujas hasn't been in any octagon or any cage for what, 2 years now, and before that, what, she fought 2 years before that. So what I will say is, I'm too sketched out on someone that I can't prove whether or not they've made the improvements.
Right.
Sketched out in laying a minus 400 the other way. I feel like last week with the other fight, like we knew who Ren was, we knew who Barbosa was, and we knew what to expect out of that fight. Barbosa grappling path. Polastri should dominate this fight, and it should be inside the distance based off of, the experience, the layoff, but you're telling me that I got to take a women's strawweight fight and expect a minus 400 favorite to find a finish here? I'm going to stay away altogether. But the pick here is the Dragon.
Yeah, she should get it done. She should get it done. I would think by finish as well. I just was still very I can't wait to fade her when she comes to the UFC. I wasn't very impressed with what I saw in her fight against Brenda Godding or her win against Bianca Saddlemeyer. I mean, it's just really not that impressive of a technique. And the other chick, there was very, very limited tape on, like you said. I watched her fight against Jessica Coelho, who is currently sits at 0-8. I mean, she has 2 professional losses to Yasmin Lucindo as well, but I mean, the girl has never won a professional fight. So of that fight, it was a split decision. Her striking is extremely crazy. She's got like this really weird head movement, but like when there's no strikes coming, it's just somebody that's really, really new at striking. She throws wild combinations. She kind of reminded me of Trevor Peake with like just literally just like hammer throws it. Yeah, it was really, she lacks striking technique and striking defense. So I really do think that it's going to be a problem for her. Should be a quick night, but I don't really want any piece of it because minus 400 is ridiculous.
Right. I mean, the Dragon versus the Angel, something tells me the Angel's going to lose its wings here. We got the Dragon Palastri. I'm telling you, please do not parlay big favorites on Dana White's Contender Series, as I've so roughly learned this season. So we will continue the roll here. We're moving right along. Thank you so much, by the way, for joining us before Monday Night Football. So we're sneaking it in. We're breaking down this Contender Series card. If you haven't done so, throw us a like. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps us out a ton. And we got the Savage, AJ Cunningham, versus the Ninja, Stephen Nguyen. Hey, just so nice. You might as well do it thrice, right? Stephen Nguyen making his 3rd appearance on Dana White's Contender Series. And either they know he's not quite UFC level, but he'll put on a good fight, or like they're really trying to get him to the UFC for some reason or another. AJ Cunningham, however, coming in, he trains what, out in Arkansas with your boy Bryce Mitchell? Is he out on the farm?
He does. Yes, he is. He's out on the farm with Bryce Mitchell, literally.
I gotta say,
is his direct training partner.
Can I tell you guys something? This fight opened as a pick'em, and now I'm getting plus 200 odds on AJ Cunningham. And I could tell you, yeah, there's some downsides to AJ Cunningham. He's not the most polished fighter, but the dude's got a solid array of offensive skills on the feet, and he's got some wrestling. Now, he'll be putting some guillotine chokes, that's for sure. But he also showed that Bryce Mitchell has put him there plenty of times because he does not panic. He fights the hands. He passes guard. He'll work to get out of it, and then he gets into his offensive wrestling game.
And
I like what I see.
He's fighting a guy in Steven Nguyen that just lacks killer instinct. It's just I don't know how else to put it. He's super susceptible to the calf kicks. He overextends and leaves his hips open. He keeps his head on the center line. He makes a lot of mistakes. He's a great technical striker, Nguyen. He's got a nice 1-2. He uses the jab to find his range. He finishes his combos with his own calf kick. There's a lot to like about him, but the big problem has always been A, his takedown defense, and B, just this lack of killer instinct. And this guy Cunningham is gonna come with a different level of intensity. He's a solid striker. He's an opportunistic grappler, and he's best when he throws in combination. His problem is sometimes like he'll kind of have like lulls of output, but when he actually is in combination and throwing, he'll throw at a decent pace, but occasionally he'll get patient or stare in the mirror a bit and kind of slow down. He's got some suspect takedown defense himself, but Nguyen is not the guy that's going to test that. So a lot of the grappling issues I'm not as worried about. The cardio advantage definitely should be in Nguyen's favor. But again, we're taking a dog shot here that a guy that's going to use wrestling and the striker that I don't necessarily trust to put him out. Hasn't fought in 2 years, so give me the dog shot on Cunningham, and I also kind of like the fight to go the distance as well.
Can I tell you a couple of things about Steven Nguyen and his prior opponents, if I might? And question for Zach, Mr. 4 Ounce of Freedom. If you guys aren't following his channel, amazing content. All the regional guys does a great job. Is this really Bryce Mitchell's cousin, or are we just saying that because they're buddies? I am curious. Let me know. And hey, guys, in the chat, if you got a best bet, if you got a prediction, let us know. We'll pull it up here. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. But so Steven Nguyen, what I will say, like you watch his fight against Theo Relayang and then Jorge Juarez, he's literally fighting guys that they should be 2 weight classes below him based off the size. Oh, Cunningham is Bryce Mitchell's cousin. That's interesting. Cousin. Brother.
Yeah, but in Arkansas, you know what I mean? Like it's his brother, it's his cousin, it's his father-in-law, who knows?
Yeah, I get it. Like Relayang has a 5-0 record. Jorge Juarez had a 5-2 record at the time that Steven Nguyen fought them. But he also fought these guys, and he's towering over them. He's finally getting a guy his size in AJ Cunningham. I think Cunningham's got enough of the technical skills and wherewithal to fight through the. I mean, Steven Nguyen's knockout against Jorge Juarez literally looked comical. It looked like the guy was throwing the fight the way that he went down. Like he was so nervous. He was so nervous and jumpy.
Think about where you're fighting. I mean, I don't know. He gets knocked out in 30 seconds. I didn't even watch that fight. I didn't even watch that. I watched his 2 Contender Series fights because I didn't even bother with that fight.
The guru does get it. This is why we keep him on the show. All right. So I think we broke it down. You're taking the shot. We are taking the shot on the plus 205 dog, AJ Cunningham, the savage, the cousin, the uncle, the brother, the father.
Very small shot. We'll take a very small shot. And I like the fight to go the distance as well.
Distance. All right. Our next fight. We've got Eduardo Neves versus Jhonata Diniz Nuts.
What the hell does his nickname mean?
I don't know. 2 B's in a row. I'm tripping out here. Babazao? Is that what it is? Babazao.
B-E-B-E, not Baba. It's B-E-B-E.
On Tapology, it just has 2 B's in a row, bro.
Nope, they changed it.
What? They changed it?
Yeah, because it was a typo.
Oh, nice. All right, so Babazao. Okay. Anyways, we got Eduardo Neves coming in 7-1. His lone loss comes to the one and only Mick Pocken. Jhonata Diniz coming in 5-0. Another one in the long line of near 500 record glory fraud kickboxing guys coming in on Dana White's.
I wouldn't call him a fraud.
All right, fair enough. But what was he? 3-4, 4-3?
He fought Rico Verhoeven, who's the best kickboxer.
Yeah,
ever.
Okay, but can we go 2 weeks back when that mofo fought fucking Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, and then he looked like absolute dog shit? I'm done just saying, oh, this guy's a glory kickboxer. He's got to be good. No, I'm done with it. So you tell me that there's a guy that has grappling, matches up in the size. I have no idea how old Denise actually is. But when they face off, it looked like Neves kind of knew something that Denise didn't. He was smiling a little bit, looked super confident. I got to take
He's
a
just
little
a
bit of a
goofy
shot
guy.
here. Yeah, he's a goofy guy, but give me plus 125 and a fucking sloppy heavy, maybe not sloppy heavyweight. They look to be in good shape. But if I'm going to learn anything here, the guy that got more past the victory, I know he lost to Mick Parkin, but Mick Parkin can turn the tables on you and start wrestling. I don't trust Mr. Jhonata Diniz nuts to do that. So unless you guys in the chat think something different, let me know. But Guru, what do you got here?
That is the big difference. I mean, he was beating the piss out of Mick Parkin, and then he just completely broke when Mick wrestled him back, and he's like, "I've never been here before," and he completely mentally broke. It was,
you know what Mick said? Well, let's go there. He said he's never been there before. Well, let's go there. Make his escape.
Wow, we're out here now. Let's go there. All right, so his fight versus what's that guy's name? Iago Silva. I mean, he beats the piss out of that guy. He's somebody that's really light on the feet for 265, and he has to cut to get there, right? He's got solid boxing. Has decent sprawl and scrambles, floating top rush. I was honestly fairly impressed with some of the stuff that I saw from him. He's gonna, if he makes it to the UFC here, which I honestly think he might as a dog, he's going to be a problem for some heavyweights because of the grappling edge. And that's exactly why I am taking the shot on him versus the former Glory kickboxer in Denise. He's got the same thing all the Glory kickboxers that have come through Dana White Contender Series and then I guess to the UFC have had. It's the fucking really good striking and the crazy power. And this guy's no exception. He's got ridiculous power and he's got really fluid striking technique, nasty combinations. And, if you make a mistake, he's going to put you down. Problem, of course, is the suspect competition, and we've got big question marks with his grappling.
Hold on. Suspect competition for Neves?
I mean,
he fought a guy 6-0-1. He fought a guy 10-4. He fought the 5-0 Mick Parkin.
I said
okay.
Denise.
I'm
Denise
sorry. That's why I asked.
That's what I was talking about.
My bad.
Remember the Glory kickboxer?
So
anyway, he's the guy with more suspect competition. Neves has actually, like you're saying, fairly high level of competition. If you added up all his fighters, I mean, most of them are undefeated when he faces them. So,
but what about the 22 and 23 Jose Rodrigo Guelki that Jhonata Diniz fought?
Right, exactly. Yeah, or 1-0, and even the fight that his last fight to get here versus Rodrigo Duarte. The dude is it's on YouTube. The dude is 11-8. He's in the wrong weight class. I mean, he should be a light heavyweight or something.
Oh my god, he's disgusting.
He was a midget, and the dude he's fought, he just doesn't want anymore. He's like, I'm getting beat and I can't win, so he literally just sits down and taps. It was
his third first round loss in a row and his fourth loss in 5 fights. That guy.
Yeah.
So once again, Denise not facing, and he's in horrible promotions. Immortal FC, MMA. Like, what is going on?
He was supposed to have a 2-inch height advantage, and they're really near the same size. So I'm taking Eduardo, like you said, with a little bit grappling upside, a little bit, couple more past the victory. Listen, the problem with Eduardo is exactly what you saw in the Mick Parkin fight. Is he could give up and he could have kind of no heart, no cardio. That could be a thing, or he could just get clipped. But I'm taking a guy with a little more upside. If he has success in the grappling, I don't see him giving up. So, in that respect, let's take a little dog shot.
Amen, brother. Here we go. We got Dragon Ball Z. It's James Llontop, Mr. Goku himself. Versus Malik Hard Knock Lewis. Llontop coming out of Peru. Definitely a very athletic and exciting fighter to watch, but has a bit of his own defensive deficiencies. Young guy. I will say he had some solid experience on the regional scene, but he's got a couple losses also to show for it. And at 24 years old to be 13-2, I mean, this guy is just getting in the action. He also hasn't lost a fight in his last 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's like 11 or 12 in a row. So, Llontop, ever since he gets choked out back in 2019 in August, in round 2, I mean, he's just been on a roll. It's just we've seen the guy finish before, and we see him get dropped in his last fight against the 20-9 Nielsen Oliveira. He ends up coming back for the round 3 knockout. It's just coming off of FFC, getting into his own wars. It's just you go turn on the Malik Lewis tape, and you're like, oh, wow, this guy's like pretty impressive. He just really fails to put his stamp on fights too often for me. And the way that he shows up looks great against Peak in the first round. And yeah, I mean, just completely gasses, starts giving up the pressure, and yeah, the tables are turned on him. I will say he shows a little bit more perseverance against Paulo Silva, the 8-6 fighter in his next fight. But I think at least having the Contender Series experience before, having fought in LFA, Peak fighting, I like the names of the promotions a lot better for Malik Lewis. I just don't actually think I can go through and take the dog shot here. I think Llontop is going to be a bit more dangerous. I don't have a play on this fight. Just fight doesn't go the distance is where I'd lean.
What I really liked about Llontop and why I ended up taking him and why I do think he is the favorite, it's his boxing. It's his willingness to work the body. He pushes up against the cage. He is willing to change levels. I just think he's a little bit more well-rounded and shown to be a little bit more like, I guess I do want to say durable. So I'm going to say durable. He's shown to be a little bit more durable. The way that Lewis faded versus Peak was really, really bad. I mean, he had Peak dead to rights, and I mean, it's almost a fight IQ problem not to finish the fight. It was way worse than I had remembered it.
I don't know. I think you need to bring a weapon into the cage to be able to actually finish Trevor Peak, though. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, he couldn't do it either. So
yeah, it's true.
I don't want to kill him too much for that. That's why I'm like not jumping on a minus 180 on the other side. I'm thinking point. Like Malik has at least faced a guy like that. You know what I mean? And that's where I think this fight is just sketchy, and it's going to end inside the distance. And for the total rounds, we got an under 2.5 at minus 165. It's not the worst.
No, and FanDuel, DraftKings will tomorrow, they'll offer the alternate line, so we'll be able to get a chance at 1.5.
Oh, this is the battle of the forehead tattoos. I forgot to mention.
That
terrible.
Is the battle of the forehead.
You can't trust either guy's fight IQ because they have 0 IQ outside the cage.
But Goku is such a cool nickname.
I get it. Like, he did a better job getting assigned or choosing his nickname, but he also has the bigger forehead tattoo. So it's like in whatever, like, and it's like some scripture. I don't know, whatever. Regardless, terrible life decisions. Probably going to see some horrible fight IQ
no
inside the cage. But it makes for a fun fight, and I think this one's going to end early. So under 2.5, minus 165 in this one for me.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, this will be a good one. So, hey, want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for joining the show today, getting in that Dana White Contender Series breakdown before we go and head into Monday Night Football. You guys are great. We really appreciate you. We're absolutely gigantic right now. So let me fix that. But this was our Dana White's Contender Series, Season 7, Week 6, best bets. So to give you a quick recap before Guru takes us away, first fight, Gene Matsumoto versus Kasey Tanner. We lean the dog play in Kasey Tanner. Polastri versus Alujas. I'm a pass, but the plus money on the under is interesting. Stephen Nguyen, AJ Cunningham. We'll take the dog shot on Cunningham. Same thing with Eduardo Neves. We have the dog shot on Neves against Jhonata Diniz. And we will take James Llontop in the main event, but the under looks much spicier overall. Guru, any different thoughts? And thank you so much, everyone in the chat. Please like, please subscribe. Guru, do your thing.
No, I was, I was on all the same plays you were, so we came to basically the consensus on that. So that's pretty fire. I like that. Quick football thing. Who do you like? 2.5 spread.
I honestly, so I predict the absolute worst for any New York football team at this point. Like, the Jets are just bound for disappointment in my eyes. And I feel like the Aaron Rodgers effect and all the excitement and everything, maybe they have a good week 1 and then it's like the Brett Favre thing where they started out hot and then he breaks down, the team starts falling apart. Yeah. I just don't envision the season going well, but Jets tonight, I like the under.
Okay. You're all over the place. So I think the Jets probably will be fine throughout the season, but I think tonight it's going to be difficult at home. I mean, just because it's your first game, trying to get to know each other and all that shit, trying to get through all the kinks. So I do like the under as well. And I like the Bills minus 2.5. I prefer 1.5 like it originally was. But guys, look at this little parlay you can get. You can get plus 100, Jets plus 7.5, under 50.5, alternate spread, parlay them together, plus 100 plus money. There you go. Thanks so much for listening. Wednesday, 8 p.m. title fight. Breaking it down with Dan Levy, best fight picks. See you then.